Smells like a dormitory. Welcome to Hey EW. I am RJ City, and my guest is Rob Van. You're not gonna do the thumb thing?
Fine.
You're not gonna do the thumb thing? I thought that was your whole thing. I was setting up for the big thumb thing. He didn't do the thumb thing.
I do the thumbs when I'm sad. Not when some joker is saying my name.
Starting off saucy. Well, I say hey, so hey.
Hey, dude. Good
Hey,
to see you.
dude. Great. You're from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Is that a ponytail?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Yeah, in tribute to you. It's an homage.
Homage.
Can we stick to the questions, please?
You got questions?
You're from Battle Creek, Michigan. It's also known as Cereal City because it's the birthplace of both Kellogg and Post. If you had to be a cereal, what would you be?
I would be Kaboom.
Okay.
Do you even know about that? man?
I heard about some kaboom in my day.
Kaboom.
Not with the F word casually thrown in the middle of the sentence, but I heard about it.
It is a very, I think, expletive kind of cereal to be.
I would have said you would have been Lucky Charms. Because I think you're fortunate,
Possible.
colorful, and only made possible through a series of chemical
In
compounds.
reality, do we have a choice of who we actually are as beings?
Oh, you're farther ahead than I am. You first appeared on wrestling television in 1987 when Ted DiBiase called a fan into the ring and paid you to kiss his feet.
Yes. 1 foot.
1 foot. Kiss his foot.
Yes.
How did you escape the stigma of being a foot fetishist?
You know, I think that I just don't have that addictive gene inside of me, so I'm able to pick anything up and put it right the hell back down.
Right. How much money would you have to be paid to kiss Ted DiBiase's feet now?
Well, I did tell him, by the way, that my price has gone up.
Okay. You first wrestled under the name Rob Stakowski. What was that gimmick? Just Polish guy?
It's like a offset of my shoot name. I would drop some letters off of it, try and make it a little more pronounceable, or at least appear to be. And I wrestled first few years as I was an international patriot. I was a flying tiger. I was Rod Zatt. It was whatever.
I miss Rod Zatt. I'm a big Rod Zatt guy. You then called yourself Rob Van Dam, of course, in tribute to the classic film star Van Johnson.
Someone called me that.
Good. Do you have a favorite Van Johnson role? There's so many to choose from.
Do you know Jelly Roll?
Can we stick to the topics here? Let's be serious. Let's focus on Van Johnson. Do you like Brigadoon, Purple Rose of Cairo, Caine Mutiny?
All the above.
The last time I saw Paris.
Hey, we'll always have Paris.
Exactly. Yes, we absolutely will. Early in your career, you were also instructed to speak with a Belgian accent. Can you give me a little Rob Van Belgian?
I'm not sure I can pull it off, but I'll do my best.
Okay. Have you been to Belgium?
Yes.
And did you just speak to one guy there who had some
Dude,
sort of
I was
ailment?
so over there.
You've had a lot of outside-the-box ideas. Don't you think it's time to just say no? You understand what I'm saying? Abstain from Mary Jane, curb the herb, nip it in the bud,
It might be. You know,
pass on the grass so long the bong, say sayonara to marijuana.
nice.
I'm talking about smoking weed.
You ran out of them? Oh, give me one more.
I don't have any more. That was it.
That was impressive, though.
Thank you.
I liked it.
But the 60s are over, you know what I'm saying? We're not doing the bohemian thing anymore. What do you need to be smoking for?
So cannabis was actually prohibited in 1937.
Oh, we're getting the history
So the
lesson.
60s, yes, sir. Harry Anslinger was the head of the FBN, the Federal Bureau of Narcotics.
The FBN.
Before the DEA. And so he had a hard-on against marijuana and prohibited it with this movie, Reefer Madness, and all this intentional disinformation on his campaign.
Yeah.
And so the 60s that you're referring to was kind of like a coming out of people in their freedoms and starting to feel like out from underneath the power and the pressure of the government, you know, for whatever. There was gay rights movements. There was a lot of different stuff.
Yes.
And cannabis was part of it.
Right.
But it is now still prohibited federally, although there's only 12 states left that don't have some kind of legal marijuana program. So
Don't worry,
we've come a long
we'll
way.
play that at double speed. My concern is that weed is like
there'll be more states, by the way, because there's at least 3 of them are going to vote it through.
Right. My concern is that weed is a gateway drug, mainly into podcasting. How do you feel about that?
Well, if you put it that way, I would recommend stay away from weed.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
You always had these airbrush tights, which really did seem like you were stoned going, maybe we put a dragon on the front and a yin-yang on the back. Is that how it happened?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It was a giant Baba that told me in '94, probably, he wanted me to start wearing some colors on my outfits. He wanted me to wear boots. I used to go barefoot.
Yes.
And I
Foot
gave him
fetish. It's all coming around.
A little pushback, but I'm glad he did, because my feet were getting pretty beat up.
I'll say. I've seen the calluses.
Yeah.
You know, your airbrush guy was like the only airbrush guy in history that made any money. Usually they're in the middle of a dilapidated mall going, do you want a hat with Tony Soprano on it? You know what I'm saying? You really saved that guy's career.
That's how I found him, at a flea market.
Are you ever going to apologize for your extremist past?
If I find it appropriate.
It's not the kind of thing you want in your resume anymore, you know?
I think that as I grow as a person, your perspective has to change, because you're looking at everything from a different point.
Yes.
And so, you know, it's possible someday that I may apologize for some things that I now, at this point in life, as wise as I am, I still have a way far to go. It's possible that there should be, there could be some kind of responsibility that I didn't know that I should be feeling.
Yeah. Maybe if you wrestled for moderate championship wrestling or something, that would have made more sense. You came out to Walk by Pantera. But you did it most often in a company that was known for not paying for music rights. Do you feel like you owe Pantera a few dollars? I mean, Paul probably has the money now.
I don't know. I think that Walk was probably pretty stoked that RVD came out.
Okay, you went the exposure route.
I think that, you know, I mean, if anyone is exposed to RVD, then of course, obviously, they love RVD.
Right.
RVD influences them in an awesome way, kick-ass matches. So I think that Pantera, when they play that song and the crowd is doing this, I think they love it.
Okay. It never really fit for you. I thought you were going to use like one choke over the line or something.
I don't know that one.
There have been so many ECW reunions that now, when there are more reunions, aren't they just reunions of the previous reunions?
Yes.
Okay, so when's the last one gonna be?
Hopefully it already happened.
Okay, great. You've already missed it. If you wanted another one, it's far, far too late. You've had so many innovative moves. The Van Daminator. You know, I always think, where in your martial arts training did they teach you how to throw a chair at somebody so they catch it and then kick the chair into their face?
It's back to that thinking outside the box that you were talking about.
I understand it.
That's where those ideas come from.
It's reefer madness. Then you had the Van Terminator, a move so innovative that nobody even thought of it before you. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. And then Shane McMahon was like, oh yeah, I can do that too. Does that bother you?
Doesn't, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
It was not a nice thing to do.
A little bit. It sucks that everyone, I mean, you know, they had a lot bigger stage than we did, so a lot more people saw that than would have been exposed to our Los Angeles pay-per-view, whatever that was.
What's something you can do now that Shane McMahon can't?
Probably everything.
Okay, wow, shooting on Shane. Your finishing move is the 5-star frog splash.
Yes.
Yet, according to my research, you've never had a 5-star match. Are the ratings wrong, or are you?
I think blame it on Joey Styles. I think he came up with the 5-star frog splash.
Okay, he rated it. What does he know about frog splashes? Right?
Most of my moves, he would, through narration, name them and explain what I was doing. Like, I would just be doing something that I saw up in my head, and then he would say, RVD with a 360 corkscrew leg drop, and I'd be, that is what I did.
And then you're stuck with it for the rest of your life.
Organic progression.
Natural, organic
you can't force
progression.
It, man. You can't go out there. So I'm going to do something cool and get the crowd to do it back to me.
Yeah.
This is me. When you see
it's a gang sign?
I think
you're going to get in trouble. You better be careful.
That's how I take them.
Remember when you called yourself the whole show, and then it was downgraded to the whole effing show?
Yes.
And then it was downgraded further to the whole damn show?
Okay.
Did you just never think you would be hired by a publicly traded company? Or did you think you were going to break the F-word barrier like a George Carlin?
I don't think I put the thought into it. You know, I mean,
Noticing a little bit of a theme here. When I think
Me too, because a lot of things that people call me or refer to me,
Yes.
you want me to take credit for it, and then now I understand you want me to apologize for it, and I don't even know what that's about. And then there's this thing about the '60s, which that was even before my time. I've been wrestling for 100 years, so
you don't really
I'm
use
confused.
A lot of periods, do you? It's a lot of commas in your.
I don't use a lot of hair product normally either, but.
When I think of your great performances, and I do, one that immediately comes to mind is your appearance on a 1999 episode of City Guys. C-I-T-Y, you can see why. Why don't you think we talk about that show more?
Because you talk about it less.
Okay. That somehow made sense. You know, you were allowed to be yourself on that show, but when you appeared on The X-Files, you were credited as Bert's opponent. Why don't you think you were respected by sci-fi drama?
I think what it was you got to see my entire acting range then. You got to see RVD as Rob Van Dam, and then you got to see him as a total different character that happens to be a wrestler but with a mask on.
Do you ever think Bert's opponent will come back on the indies?
I think Bert's opponent was his own brother, and maybe in a deeper way, his own true self.
That's subtext if I ever heard it. You know, I took a look at your Instagram this morning, and I don't know how to put this delicately. You seem sexually active, often in a non-monogamous capacity. Top 3 tips for an orgy?
I guess, make sure you know what you're into.
Okay.
Don't compromise that, or you're not going to have any fun.
Fair enough.
And post it on Instagram.
Okay, I said 3 tips.
I might give you
2.
Do you need me to repeat them?
Is there something about keys? Is there something about a pineapple in my garden that I need to know?
Make sure that, okay. Was that 2?
Wow, can't wait to go to your orgy. Well, this has been a hot box, and I'm high on you. We've packed a bowl.
It happens.
And that bowl's name. Can we do it together?
The pineapple bowl?
I was gonna say your name.
Oh, I'm confused.
I wanted to do it together. Can we do your thumbs?
You know what
now?
Shane McMahon told me? He said you should stick with either Rob Van Dam or RVD. Great advice. I just never took it. So a lot of times I'm taking a picture of the fan. I'll go ready, and I'll go Rob, and they'll go Rob, and you got to adjust. And I always think great advice that I never took. I thought I was already too established by that time. I'll do my initials with you, not my full name.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You know how it starts?
Yep.
Okay. This has been his best show ever with the best guest ever, and that's me, RVD. See how I made it rhyme?
Yeah.
That's from experience.
That was great.
Yeah.
What will $8 get me?
Where?